It's an undying myth that combat athletes need a lot of road work. Okay, back in the day, say Muhammad Ali's time, they didn't have the resources and the knowledge we have now, and might not have had. They traditionally didn't have the equipment. Combat athletes were always traditionally poor. They couldn't afford a fully equipped gym, and before the bodybuilding days of Arnold, didn't really have any good ideas what to do with the equipment, anyways. So that has carried on into uh, the age old advice to get your road work in if you're a wrestler or a boxer or any type of fighter. But uh, wrestling, strictly the sport of wrestling, is quite different than the other combat sports because there's not near as much movement. You're not on your feet nearly as much as a boxer. For example, the boxers are on their feet the entire time. Okay, so there's a lot of transfer from running to boxing. Not nearly as much transfer from running to wrestling. You could spend most of your time on the mat, on the ground as they call it, as opposed to on your feet. Uh, a good wrestler is taught to attack immediately and put his opponent on the ground. They're only on their feet as much as they have to be when they're defending each other, and they're not running around the ring. Okay, so another thing that's different from boxing and other combat sports is wrestling's a shorter duration. Okay, through high school and college, it's 2 minute periods, and there's only three of them, and there's about a 30-second rest in between, which is about as much time it takes for the ref to restart the wrestlers in their starting position after each period. Uh, so there's, in my mind, there's three broad categories of conditioning that a wrestler should do, and the first one that takes priority is you get your conditioning from wrestling. Okay, from drilling vigorously to wrestling live in your wrestling practice. So typically with my boys, I'll have them drill 45 minutes and work on skills, and there's some downtime there. There's some instruction, some teaching. It takes total about 45 minutes to an hour with all the instruction and the drills going on. They're getting some conditioning there. One of the combos we like to do, one of the drills we like to do is to teach them aggressiveness is 10 takedowns each in a 2 minute time period. You have to hustle, takedown, get up, takedown, get up, takedown, get up in order to do that. That's going to increase your conditioning, and it's very sport specific. So the sport specific conditioning takes priority, and the least sport specific conditioning takes a back seat, like running. So we'll get the drilling in, the live wrestling in for conditioning, and then after wrestling practice, we'll work on a strength movement like squat, bench, deadlift, power cleans, um, maybe some pulling like dumbbell rows and pull-ups, rope climbs, um, and you just work on doing a set, resting, doing a set, resting. So it's not really any engine building there. You're just building strength. You have to remember your engine is limited to your strength capacity. If you don't have enough strength to do a single push-up, then you don't have enough strength to do conditioning. So your conditioners will be garbage. All right, so they go hand in hand. You have to improve your max strength to improve your conditioning. Running doesn't do this. Okay, running builds a little bit of leg strength, and it's primarily there for heart strength and your lungs, your cardiovascular. Okay, so back to post practice strength and conditioning, do your strength, and then hit your metabolic conditioner. All right, this is where we take necessary movements we need to build skill, strength, and endurance with, and we put them in a conditioner. Okay, in wrestling, you got to lunge, squat, lift, push, pull. You're going to do those basic fundamental moves in a wrestling match. So we're going to take those moves and we're going to put them into your metabolic conditioner. Okay, there's two broad categories to a metabolic conditioner that I would focus on for wrestlers. All right, sustained period of time. All right, this would be about 15, 20 minutes, sometimes less, sometimes more, um, of continuous effort. Okay, steady pace, no stopping. So you go from like 5 pull-ups to 10 push-ups to 15 air squats and repeat for 20 minutes. A well-conditioned athlete could get about 25 rounds in 20 minutes on that one. All right, no breaks. As soon as you're done with the 15th air squat, you can go back to the pull-up bar. Okay, that's going to also build your aerobic capacity. It has anaerobic and aerobic built into one metabolic conditioner. That's another downside to just running. It's dominated by aerobic, your aerobic energy pathway. All right, so it's not dual purpose. Um, and then the other broad category is intervals. Wrestling is stop go stop go stop go. Okay, you take them down, put them on the mat. You'll have a little bit of a lull there as you're trying to break them down. It's not as vigorous, may not be as vigorous as the takedown scramble. Okay, and then your opponent decides to try to escape, hit a switch or stand up. It gets high intensity again. All right, uh, these intense moments happen in bursts. Okay, so and also 2 minutes is not long. You get 2 minute interval, then you get a brief break, which for a well trained athlete is significant. The 30 seconds you get to reset, a well trained athlete will make the most of that and will recover greatly in those 30 seconds. All right, it's not for nothing. Okay, so you could think of a wrestling match as extreme negative intervals. All right, 2 minutes, 30-second rest, as opposed to 1-to-1 work rest ratio. Say you work for 2 minutes and then you're off for 2 minutes, which is great conditioning also, and has its pluses and negatives. And then a positive work rest ratio, which is very common in the running world. They'll do 400-meter run and then take a 2 minute break. The 400-meter run only takes about a minute. Uh, they'll double it. Okay, it's a 1-to-2 work rest ratio. All right, a negative, uh, to sustain a negative work rest ratio, like 2 minutes on, 30 seconds off, or say the very famous Tabata, which is 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off for 8 rounds, takes a tremendous amount of conditioning. It takes a long time to build that up, and you don't build it up by running. Okay, running helps in different ways. It builds heart strength. It builds it aids in the ability to clear lactic acid. It'll definitely help you sustain effort through that third period, because that third period is going to get very aerobic. Um, so I would not eliminate running altogether. I would do it once or twice a week. Uh, if you're if you're a good runner and it doesn't take away from your other training, twice a week. If you're heavy or a bad runner, it's high impact for you. It messes up your knees and your back. Only once a week. Okay, you can get all your you can train your other energy pathways sufficiently with the metabolic conditioners. A lot of you could theoretically get away with eliminating the running altogether as long as you're programming the metcons adequately. Um, so to recap, running, getting lots of road work in, definitely would not recommend it for a wrestler. It's more applicable to a boxer because they're going to do 12 rounds. They're going to be on their feet the whole time. It has a lot of transfer to somebody like a boxer, but not a wrestler. You got a 6 minute match. very high intensity, negative intervals, uh, very anaerobic. I would say it's more anaerobic than it is aerobic. And you need to work habitually on a regular basis on skilled movements to enhance your wrestling with these metcons. Skilled movements. You can throw uh, all these traditional fundamental movements into your metcons: deadlifts, cleans, snatches, box jumps, burpees, rope climbs, pull-ups. Throw those into your metcon. Not only are you building the strength and endurance for those movements you need to wrestle, you're increasing your skill level at the same time. Okay. And you're also training the energy systems, anaerobic, specifically for wrestling. Okay. So if you have any questions, uh, find me at trainbydane.com. Find me on Facebook. Message me. I'll get back to you.